Hey guys, welcome to 6 Minutes for Monday, November 7th. I'm Jason Fulmore, SC Wrestle. And it's been a busy weekend. I don't know if you watched the Battle of River City duels down in Jacksonville, but I was down there covering it. Lots of great action. Caught a few really pretty cool pictures, especially in the Wisconsin versus Iowa State duel, but got to see Campbell and UTC, Little Rock, Buffalo, as well as Wisconsin and Iowa State. It was a great weekend, but there was great wrestling all over the place this week. And in college, Patriot Open, Southeast Open, or the Hokie Open, and so on and so forth, all across the country. No way to identify or give shout outs to everyone who competed because lots of Southeast wrestlers competed and wrestled really, really well. This is the beginning of the week for Georgia and Alabama, who will start their tournaments this coming weekend. Florida, shout out to all the Florida kids who actually begin practice this week. And, I don't want to take too much time. We are still counting down the top 10 in Alabama preseason, and this is 6A today. 7A should drop tomorrow. And then I'm hoping to have Tennessee by the end of the week, but I haven't gotten in touch with Coach Ham. So, busy week going on. Lassiter Invitational in Georgia this weekend coming up. I'm hoping to talk a little bit about that as the week goes on. But I do not want to take away because this is about 20 minutes of Jaxon and I talking about the top teams in 6A in the state of Alabama. I hope you enjoy it. Who's number one? It's gonna be a battle in 6A. Check it out.
Right. Here with Jaxon Bast, Alabama Wrestling Forums, content creator who's doing everything this fall, man.
Shoot, yeah, I've been pretty busy between shooting games, calling it. I mean, I told you right before we hopped on that I had a basketball game that was supposed to happen last night. They moved it to 2 p.m. today. And honestly, that was a pretty big learning curve for me because what do I do during basketball season? I wrestle. So I last year I had no idea anything about basketball. And I'm definitely I got a good grasp of it now, but definitely not one of my stronger sports.
You know what? I mean, not to diss on basketball, but I totally understand. I get where you're coming from, and let's be honest, like you're doing all that, which is so awesome. You're paying attention to what's going on in Alabama. We're gonna get the top 10 in 6A now, and you're ranked in the conference for heavyweight for Bluefield. Congratulations!
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That is pretty awesome, dude. So is it nice to be back on the mat?
Oh, 100%. I've been itching since I got shoulder surgery last year. Supposedly it was pretty bad. I didn't really know. I didn't really care, but I'm glad, with the help of my trainers and my coaching staff that I'm ready to wrestle on November 5th.
Oh man, can't wait. So that's that's later this week. So it's gonna be awesome.
Oh yeah.
All right. So let's jump into 6A. And as we talked about in the 5A one, it's a little weird, man. Like we split 5A and 6A up, and there's positives associated with splitting 5A and 6A up, negatives associated with splitting 5A and 6A up. The majority, I think, of teams moved into 6A from 5A, 6A. So we're still seeing some of those rivalries, some of those matchups that we saw last year or the last 2 years. They're still around. We're still seeing, Gardendale, Homewood, McAdory, Mortimer Jordan, Wetumpka, those teams still kind of in the mix. Is 6A your favorite this year to watch?
No, but that's probably not. Honestly, though, that's probably because I'm a 7A boy, and I will always enjoy watching the teams I competed against, and that's I do say that while keeping in mind the kids that we have in 6A. Now, if you had asked me last year, definitely 5-6A by a long shot, but now it's probably regressed back to 7A.
Got it. Okay. All right. So let's jump in. I don't want to spend too much time talking about a bunch of other things because we are here to talk about the top 10 teams. Before I jump actually right into the top 10 and the bottom 5 of the top 10, you give me one ranking. So is this dual? Is this tournament? What is this mostly between the two of them?
So I would definitely say it's mostly a tournament set of rankings. I mean, it is a little bit of both. I definitely thought if these two matchups happened, how would it work? But I would say definitely a lot of it is based on what we saw at the state tournament last year, because honestly, I feel like that's the most important information when it comes to providing a new set of rankings.
All right. And to be fair, and we'll just go ahead and put the little asterisk out there. I mean, this is based on a lot of summer wrestling, returning from March. A lot's going to happen, right? So this is preseason. The whole point is to have the conversation, look at who's returning, who's a possibility of returning, and start talking about some really interesting developments in the team race as we progress. But that doesn't mean that this is going to be where everybody ends up. I mean, let's just be honest.
Well, I don't know. I think my rankings are always pretty. I'm just messing. No, honestly, it just like the NCAA tournament every year, the state tournament, you're going to see upsets on upsets. It's just who wants to win it that day.
Yeah,
so I'm excited. I'm just excited it's wrestling season.
I agree, 100%. All right, so the bottom 5 of the top 10 coming in at number 10 is Pike Road, 9 is Hartselle, 8 is Athens. Shout out to Will Anderson on a fantastic weekend this past weekend. Number 7 is Pelham, and number 6 is Fort Payne. So, I mean, honestly, your bottom 5, your top 10, they're good. Those are some good teams in there. Are they close? I mean, is the difference between your top team and the bottom part of your top 10? Are they close to one another, or I'm just trying to get a sense.
I would say that 1 through 5 is there's a gap between 5 and 6.
Okay.
But then 6 through 10, I feel like I could see a little bit of somebody else coming in, but like you said, those are all very, very, very solid teams.
Yeah. Is there a team that fell outside the top 10 that you think is right there on the cusp of breaking in?
Maybe a team like Mountain Brook. I know that they have they lost 4 guys, but they still have two returning placers. I think Will Courtney, if you look at it, is the highest returning placer for 6A 220 when you split them up. So I'm kind of excited to see where everybody lies.
Yeah, and if you look at the bottom 5 here, the names kind of pop out, the individual names. So the Duncans at Pike Road, or the Lincoln Bryant at Hartselle, or the Will Anderson or Jackson Younger at Athens. Pelham has several individuals as well as Fort Payne. So it pops out as individuals, but these are team rankings. So how important is it going to be for those kids that we just mentioned to do their thing, but the kids behind them, they've got to do their thing?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously, when you break it down, you're gonna think about your big point scores. So your Will Anderson, he's already on his 2nd state title. He's probably gonna walk through it again. So you're gonna get a state title in dominating fashion.
Right.
But even with that, I think you top out at 26 points. So you're really gonna have to see someone like I know the Youngers have a couple kids that are probably gonna have to step up when it comes to your Athens people. And then Hartselle only has room to grow. They only brought 3 guys to the tournament, and they still showed up and showed out. So they kind of have to go from here to here. It's not like they have a super small team, but some of their guys are gonna have to step up if they want to end up finishing the top 10.
Yeah. So you talked about a gap. between number 5 and number 6. But Fort Payne's a tough team, and they returned some kids. So it is and Pelham, I think they have the I don't remember, one of the kids who didn't compete last year but did compete 2 years ago is now back again. At least according to Coach Strickland. Boy, I wish I knew off the top of my head. So how I guess my question actually is that how close are 6 and 7? Do you see them breaking into the top 5, or do you really see the top 5 being the top 5?
I really honestly I see the top 5 being the top 5.
Yeah.
If everything kind of falls into place the way I'm picturing it, it's October 30th, and if I picture everything the way it is, I don't see Wetumpka falling out of the top 5. Of course, disclaimer, anything can happen to the state tournament, but I'm going to assume that not everything can happen to the state tournament, and that I would say Wetumpka is going to round out our top 5.
So, and let's jump to Wetumpka, because let's be honest, that is a really, really good team. It's got Noah Smith, Chad Strickland, like the little McWilliams. It's got Willie Cox up top. Wetumpka has some studs, and to see them come in at number 5 at 6A tells me that 1 through 4 got to be super tough, because Wetumpka's a good team.
Yeah, and honestly, like Wetumpka is, like I said, what we say, they don't lose a single guy. They're returning 4 placers, and the only senior they're going to have this year is Chad Strickland, who honestly I could definitely see him winning a state title this year. I think someone like Willie Cox kind of underperformed the state tournament last year. I don't see as much, shifts at heavyweight like we saw last year. And somebody like Christian Preston, who was only a sophomore last year, placed 6th, and I've seen him wrestle a bunch this offseason.
Yeah.
He's looking big. He's looking tough, and I could definitely see him kind of running a gauntlet at 220.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, I watched Wetumpka, I watched Strickland and Preston. I watched Willie as well at the Georgia Super 32 early entry tournament. Watched a bunch of their kids wrestle. I was super impressed, and to see them at number 5 tells me that your number 14, which is Mortimer Jordan, is. I mean, they are the defending champ, so.
Yeah, and I kind of had to figure out where I was going to have them, because I mean, I don't want to say it was luck, but I definitely think the fact that they had some seniors was the biggest thing. I don't think anybody in that entire arena thought that Jimmy Reed was going to go on the run that he did. He took out Colby Clark, who was supposed to be competing for a state title that year, who fell in the semis, and he like Jimmy Reed, who I think placed 4th at the sectional, did kind of like this. I think he did like the Iron Man. I can't remember if he had a first round win or not, but I think he lost. So he did the Iron Man, coming all the way back for 3rd, and that was honestly between him and then Caleb Wright taking out Preston Jones. Those were the 2 big swings. Oh, and I would also say Lake Gurley making the state finals is also big.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mortimer Jordan, I don't think anybody would deny that they wrestled fantastic, right? At the end of the year, they were on. There were a few chips that kind of maybe fell their way as with regards to controversies and different things like that with Isaiah Poe and Wyatt, that sort of thing, which hurt Gardendale. But that didn't directly have an impact on Mortimer Jordan. They still had to do what they had to do to take care of business, and they did so. And yet, we looked at this year, Caleb Wright, Brody Christmas. Now they lose a few. Don't get me wrong, but they still have some studs in there. That, to see them at number 4, I don't know. Maybe I thought they might have been a little bit higher.
No, I mean, I definitely see people trying to make an argument for it, but I think the fact that they're losing 4 guys, 4 really tough people, is going to really kind of plague them early in the season. Now, granted, I've been to Kimberly, Alabama. they've got some big kids, some big athletic boys, and I definitely think they could kind of fill those spots. So I'll be kind of excited. Now, when it split up, I definitely thought they were going to be on the 5A side, and then I caught wind of how many kids they've had grown in like the last 4 years.
Right.
It's just been on a steep incline. But
yeah. No, I agreed with you. I thought they were going to be down there with Arab, and that was kind of what we were going to get. But they are up here in 6A, and your number 3 team is Homewood, and Homewood, the Patriots. They're always kind of right there, but never there. Never to that next step as far as taking that next step and beating a Gardendale, a Mortimer Jordan, a McAdory, a Wetumpka, different things like that to get to the top. What is it about Homewood that tells you that they have a shot this year?
So I actually made a post on my Instagram. I think it was May. And I was like, they placed top 5 last year, but I don't think a lot of people banked on it. And I said, do you guys think that they've got a chance at a title? And of course, people were chirping in the comments. But honestly, when I made that post, I had in the back of my head that Homewood could compete for a title. Now, do they have maybe a little bit of some bad luck on their side when it comes to not being able to break through? Like, they are always in that top 5,
right,
top 10 for the last 20, 30 years.
Right.
But they've never, like you said, they've never really broken through. But I think that they kind of have the returns they need to break through. I've been in that room. It's a tough room. But I think the coaching staff at Homewood has done a lot to kind of change what that program's trajectory was. I think a lot of it, and it's not a knock on anybody who's coached there at all, but I think that, and I just lost his name. I can picture him. Oh gosh, who's the head coach currently?
The Count, Frankie McGowan, right?
Frankie, Coach Frankie McGowan. Yeah, he's just. Have you ever been in the room with him? He's kind of like this fresh of breath air. He's young, he's vibrant, and he's really kind of bringing a new style from Illinois to that room in Homewood.
Yeah. No, definitely. It is interesting to kind of see where Homewood has been and whether Homewood is ready to challenge your number 1 and number 2 team. And we're going to go ahead and talk about them. Number 1, you have Gardendale. Number 2, you have McAdory. Man, 2 really, really, really good programs sitting at the top, not just in 6A. We're talking about in the entire state. They are absolutely fantastic. What was it about Gardendale that put them above McAdory, number 1? And number 2 is how close is the pack to those top 2?
I would say that the pack is pretty close. I mean, last year, I think going into the state tournament, we were kind of expecting at a minimum 4 out of 5 state champs, and they're losing the Wyatts and Melton Poe, but you still have the other 2 Poes, and it's honestly, it's just kind of like this new wave every time. I mean, there are 5 Poe brothers, and only one of them has graduated. That's scary to think about. That's insane to me.
Yeah.
And they're all studs. Even little Carew.
Yeah. No, they are. They're tough. But Gardendale, in years past, I mean, it is Melton and it's the Wyatts and it is Isaiah and so on and so forth. But there's others individuals, the Zieglers and the Brody Scoggins and those individuals stepping in and playing a role has been a huge part of Gardendale's success. Not to say the others, the others are super important to their success as well. But filling those other spots for Gardendale, in my opinion, is going to be the difference between winning and not this coming.
Yeah, no, I would 100% agree. I mean, it really is the Brody Scoggins, the Zieglers, like you said. It really is. It's the room. It's their room is creating that mindset for them to compete in the post. Like, I think honestly, they're one of the best prepped programs when it comes to February.
I agree with you. All right, so let's turn real quick to McAdory. How close are they to Gardendale? If you were to give me a percentage that you thought Gardendale is going to win it all, McAdory is going to win it all, or the other is going to win it all, how close is that?
I would say it's probably 40, 30, 30, probably 40% Gardendale, 30% McAdory, 30% other.
Wow. Okay, so that's close.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely like I could definitely see McAdory claiming another title like they did in 2019. I mean, the only person they lost one state placer, one upper weight, and they're returning a lot of guys. So I could definitely see them competing against Gardendale. But like I said, like I think Gardendale is probably maybe outside of like a Thompson or a Vestavia is like probably the best prep room when it comes to February.
All right. So let's run down the top 10 again. Gardendale, McAdory, Homewood, Mortimer, Jordan, and Wetumpka round out your top 5. It's a solid top 5. I'm really, really excited about that. Fort Payne, Pelham is 7, Athens is 8, 9 is Hartselle, 10 is Pike Road. Your 6A group is super solid. So you said 7A was your most excited. That's the one you're most excited to see. Me personally, I might be most excited to watch the 6A battle, just because I think it's going to be super close. And I don't think that it's a foregone conclusion. I think it's broken down like you said, 40, 30, 30. I think there's a lot of teams that really have a shot.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, I think those 1 through 5. Like, I don't think Gardendale being number 1 is a sure thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, man. I appreciate it. We're talking about 6 weeks, about halfway through the season, and check out.